All right, let's jump right in. Today, we are diving deep into a phrase that is, absolutely central to Christian theology. But we're going to look at it through a lens that might just give you a totally fresh and, honestly, a much more powerful perspective. We're going beyond the common view of grace and faith.
And here it is, Ephesians 2:8. You've probably heard this a million times, right? For so many, this verse is the absolute bedrock for understanding salvation. And it seems so simple, so straightforward. Grace is the cause, faith is how it happens. But what if that simple little formula is packed with a cosmic and royal drama that we almost always miss?
When we hear the word grace, this is usually what pops into our heads. Unmerited favor. It's a divine pardon for our own personal guilt. And listen, that's not wrong. But what our source today argues is that it's a really incomplete picture. It's kind of like describing a royal coronation as just a person getting a new hat. It just misses the whole point.
And this is where everything pivots. The entire argument really hinges on this one question. The source material is challenging us to stop and really reconsider the fundamental problem that grace is supposed to solve. Because if we've misdiagnosed the illness, our whole understanding of the cure is going to be limited, right? So what if the problem is bigger, deeper, and way more cosmic than just our personal rap sheet?
Okay, so this slide lays out the two perspectives perfectly. On one side, you've got the common view. The problem is individual guilt, so the solution is a pardon. Simple enough. But the source argues that Ephesians frames the problem as cosmic dominion. Whoa, that's a huge shift. This means it's not just about us breaking some rules, it's about all of humanity being aligned with a hostile spiritual power. And if that's the problem, the solution has to be way more radical. It's got to be liberation and a complete transfer of citizenship.
And this is the actual language the text uses. It's political. It's all about kingdoms and rulers. To follow the prince of the power of the air means that humanity's problem isn't just a series of isolated mistakes. No, it's subjection. It's being under the thumb of a hostile ruler. And you don't solve a problem of enemy occupation with a simple pardon. You need a full-on regime change.
And here's the beautiful shift in thinking. The solution isn't something Christ just does for us, from a distance. Instead, we're brought into his victory. It's not just about being forgiven. It's about being swept up into his own story of triumph over death and all those hostile powers.
So how does the text actually describe this? Well, it uses these three incredibly powerful together with phrases. We are made alive together with Christ. Then we're raised together with him. And finally, we're seated together with him. See, this isn't just about getting a ticket to heaven for later. It's about sharing in Christ's own resurrection and his exaltation right here, right now.
And that last step, seated together, that's the real climax of the whole thing. Being seated together isn't just some nice metaphor for feeling peaceful. In the ancient world, if you were seated with a king, it meant you shared in his rule, in his authority. So the source argues this is literally describing us being installed into a position of shared royal power over the very same forces we used to be subject to.
And here it is. This is the big thesis, the core redefinition from our source. Grace isn't just a pardon. It's resurrection enthronement given as a gift. Just let that sink in for a second. Grace is a royal political act that completely changes our fundamental status in the cosmos. It's not just wiping the slate clean, it's being given a seat on the actual throne.
Well, that naturally leads to the next question, doesn't it? If our understanding of grace just got radically expanded, then our understanding of faith has to expand right along with it. How exactly do you respond to the gift of a throne?
So let's look at the two views of faith. On one side, you've got intellectual belief, basically just accepting a fact as true. But in a world of kings and kingdoms, faith means something way more robust. The source defines it as covenantal allegiance. Think about it like this. It's the difference between acknowledging that a king exists and actually bending the knee to declare him as your king. It's an active, loyal decision to transfer your allegiance to him as your new rightful ruler.
Now let's be really clear about this because this is so important. This view of faith doesn't sneak works back in through the side door. You don't earn the throne by being loyal. The source is crystal clear. The throne is a gift of grace, period. Faith is simply the proper, loyal response to receiving such an unbelievably amazing gift. It's the posture of accepting what grace gives.
So, if we've been given this incredible new royal status, what's it for? Is it just for us to, sit back and enjoy the perks? Not at all. The source argues that this new identity, this status, immediately leads to a new purpose, a vocation.
A throne always comes with responsibilities.
And the text itself makes this totally explicit. The whole point of this entire cosmic rescue mission and enthronement is for good works. We've been commissioned. This is not a passive salvation. It's a dynamic one that's meant to be lived out, to be walked in.
So, what are these good works then? Well, first, they're the fruit of salvation, not the root. That's a huge distinction. They are the tangible, real-world expression of our new royal authority. And ultimately, they are how the community of the enthroned, the church, actually shows the world the just, loving, and self-giving character of its king.
And why all this? What's the ultimate point of the whole shebang? Well, according to the text, it's for a cosmic display. The church, by living out its throned status, becomes a living, breathing demonstration to the entire universe. And that includes the hostile spiritual powers, of the immeasurable riches of God's grace and wisdom.
So we end with this question that just flows directly from this whole perspective. If salvation isn't just about being saved from something, but being saved for something, for participating in Christ's reign, well, that just changes everything, doesn't it? It reframes our entire purpose. So the question for us to really think about is this: if salvation is enthronement, what does it actually mean to rule well?